This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cincinnati Reds POSTCAST, brought to you by the folks over at Locked On Reds. My name is Tim Daniel. I have been covering the Cincinnati Reds in podcast form for over 5 years of publications such as the Riverfront and Late Night Reds. And today we are discussing a nightmare of a baseball game if you're a Cincinnati Reds fan. It's the Cincinnati Reds, who had not one, but two 5-run leads in this game, managed to lose to the San Francisco Giants today, 8-6 in extra innings. And it was bad. And it's really frustrating. It's a really irritating game. Big picture, yes, the Cincinnati Reds do get their first series of the year, but a chance to get a sweep, a chance to have some momentum going on your way home for a favorable schedule coming up between the Pittsburgh series and the Seattle series after that as well. And they could not take advantage. And we will go ahead and get to it all. We're going to discuss the game and overall in picture. We're going to discuss the Elly experience because there was some good today and there was some really bad. And then we're going to go through, I'm not going to do the list of order of who's to blame, but there is a lot of blame to discuss from this game. So we're going to go through that as well. But of course, we'll start with here was what we will be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
A total joke of a game. Let's just call it what it is. You have them on the ropes flat out. You chase Justin Verlander out of the game, which is really fascinating. Because you really had him up 5-0. You should always win 5-0. Always. I don't care. Your defense made really good plays throughout the day. 7, 8 really good plays today. They do have an error, which we'll get to in the next segment, obviously. But then you have Nick Martinez being left in way too long. I thought that the first two games, I thought Tito did such a great job managing Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green. And then today, he left him in there way too long. It was the Dusty Baker special. We got some David Bell from him on opening day against the Giants. Today, we get some Dusty Baker against the Giants. And thankfully, they don't have to play the Giants anymore. So there's that at least, unless there's some October run, which I know none of you are very confident at the moment. I can't blame you. But today was just one of those days where it feels like they took their foot off the gas pedal at times. I think that's pretty fair to say. They really lacked aggressiveness after they took that big lead. And, it's 5-0 and it gets to 5-1 and you're kind of like, all right, cool. I mean, whatever, like that's one. We should still put this one away. And then Austin Waynes gets walked in to make it a 6-1 game. And you're thinking like, okay, 6-1 on the road. You got a shot, right? Your bullpen's been really good all year. And of course, you have your first bad experience with Taylor Rogers on the season. That was really frustrating. Scott Barlow does what he needs to do to keep them in the game. And then Tony Sancion has his first bad outing of the year, which I wouldn't know if it was really bad. He just kind of carried. They did not face Paul Skeens in this series, actually. So they actually avoid him like in this one, thankfully. Sancion gives up the homer to Wilmer Flores to make it a 6-6 game. And it's just not good. Ian Jabot actually has a decent inning to keep them afloat. And then Angel Pagan gives up that was the most predictable home run I think I can imagine in a very long time. So just a horrible day. This was one that you have to close this game out. There's no excuses. You're 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this game. You're 500. You leave 6 guys on base. You lose by 2 runs. You have 6 runs, which is great. You only have 6 hits. The thing that's really irritating is it was a day where the bats were humming, right? I mean, I know it's only 6 hits, but they have that huge inning and the pitching doesn't back them up. And it's normally the pitching just doing their thing and the offense can't keep up with the pitching. So today was really just what's really being frustrating about the Cincinnati Reds team is they have you can make the case they have one game all year, one game this whole season where they just played a complete game. And that was the Texas game when they won by 14-3. It's either you have a game like in Milwaukee, like today, where you have a big lead and you blow it, or the Milwaukee game when you score 11 runs and you still give up 7. I can live with that. But this was awful. And I will for sure get to a few of these things as well. Look, okay, let's go ahead and attack it. I see it a million times now. Let's calm down about Will Benson. Yes, I thought he deserved a chance. He didn't look very good today at all. He made a really great catch, to keep the game afloat, to get them to extras. But that was it. And that was really frustrating as well. So obviously hits a sombrero on his first game back in the big leagues. But you know what? He's had a sombrero in his first game of the season before and bounced back okay. So I'm going to give the kid a chance. I'm going to see if maybe he has a shot there to do pretty well. I will admit that had they lost in the ninth and Elly was left on deck because he was hitting third in the lineup, I probably would have lost my mind as well. Patrick, see, we should option Elly to single it. I can overact as well. Yeah. I'm not going to act like I'm just not disappointed. I'm not going to act like I'm not discouraged, but thankfully, as I keep saying, we have a lot of these to go. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing right now, how you're feeling, but this is a game that, was really, really frustrating. And especially because you had, not only did you have plenty of chances, you had the game in your hands. You had no reason to blow this one. And I really think that this is going to be one that may sting for a couple of days. I wish they were playing Pittsburgh game 1 tomorrow so we could get this one out of our heads, but we're going to be sitting on this one for 2 nights until they take the field on Apple TV Plus against the Buccos, who won today in extras for what it's worth, after Skeens got rocked yesterday by the Cardinals. So I guess that's what it is. It's whatever. Find a way to get back at it, get some wins against the Pirates. You have favorable pitching matchups in all 3 games. Their offense is probably worse than yours, realistically. Find a way to win those games. All right, let's just kind of go to that. All right, guys. So today we saw the things that make Elly De La Cruz so fun to watch, and we saw the things that make Elly De La Cruz so frustrating to watch. So I'm going to get to that and talk about what we know it as the Elly De La Cruz experience right after this. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I was spending on online shopping. Now I budget smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan on long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Looking for the snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts, each 1 ounce serving as 6 grams of protein, giving you 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better-for-you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no-shell variety. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just in need of a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Even in a disappointing day, I can't thank you guys enough for spending time with me this evening on the Locked On Reds, the Reds POSTCAST, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Of course, I'm here for the quick reaction to the game. Jeff Carr, Stephen Offenbaker here on this same channel on Locked On Reds for free at your podcast app of choice or here on YouTube to do the full deep dive into everything going on with the Reds. All right, guys. So this was not fun today, obviously. Disappointing loss. But let's see where this game really got bad.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I'm going to go with the fact that it was Terry Francona leaving Nick Martinez in way too long. He was walking a tightrope for not just that inning, but for multiple times. He got bailed out by really good defense behind him. He got bailed out by San Francisco making really bad decisions on the base path. They were kind of playing what the Reds do that everyone hates so much. So I feel like this is one where maybe if you have a different situation, maybe get your bullpen up sooner. Your bullpen didn't have to pitch a whole lot the last couple days with what your two starters did in the previous game. So I feel like just leaving Nick Martinez in was something that really caused this game to kind of fall apart. And that was what was really disappointing as well. So today, folks, we saw the gift and the curse of Elly De La Cruz. We saw a really big RBI double that puts 2 runs on the board in the 3rd inning when they have that rally to get up 5-0. We saw an unbelievable catch that was looking go right up the middle. And then we saw 3 strikeouts, including an extra innings with Noelvi Marte on second base. And we saw a really bad throwing error that kept an inning going. This is what's going to be happening. Oh, hey, look, Juwan's here. I only see him when they lose, and he's got comments. So never here when they win, but he's always here when they lose. I know they lose a lot more than they win right now, but it's good to see you, buddy. Just the thing that's so frustrating about that is we all know who he is, right? We know that he's incredibly gifted and talented. We know how good he is at everything he does. But the lackadaisicalness, the laziness, I know a lot of people want to point out, this is going to be something where he has to hone this in, right? We hear about this every offseason, right? Well, he's been working out with Barry Larkin. And I'm one who fully believes that if anyone comes in here, I will not listen to Elly De La Cruz should be an outfielder. I will not listen to it. It's not true. Even with these errors, these bad plays, again, just look up Baseball Savant page. He's still a very, very good defender, even with some plays he kind of takes off and kind of hot dogs, I guess you can call it. Obviously, you want to see that get down. And today was one of these days where it probably didn't cost them big picture, but it certainly didn't help them today. And I thought the double was great. I hustled out of there. I know with Patrick Bailey behind the plate, they aren't stealing as much that they didn't. I don't know if they really attempted one at all during the 2 Giants series that I remember. And you probably picked that back up in Pittsburgh this week with all the guys they have playing a catcher. But I would have been willing to see if he could have taken a bag at some point in one of his 2 hits. I know he got a double there, and I think he did have a runner. No, he did. That was a bases clearing double, and then Lux brought him in. By the way, Lux had a pretty good bat at bat too. So this is going to be something where with him, we're going to probably have these guys a lot, right? I mean, we've had quite a few of them already in his abbreviated 2.2 seasons in the league so far, where he has these moments where you just shake your head, but then he'll come back in this next moment. He'll make you just like in awe of something amazing he did. And I'm willing to live with mistakes if you're going to get those in awe moments that we see from him quite a bit. So this is going to be just part of the Elly De La Cruz experience, guys. And until he really figures out the defensive part of things, which, by the way, he's still a very good defender. Don't let anything twist you. But if you count by errors, it's going to be something that they're just going to have to deal with. And I think he's going to figure it out pretty quickly. All right, let's kind of go before we get to the last part of the day. Let's kind of go through the chat. Josh at Reds Reality, why are you not working him to set up a double play? You literally cost yourself that game. I don't know. It is what it is, man. So Marshall Lynch, the Reds need continuity with their lineup. There isn't any threats in the lineup, especially when Elly is struggling. That's fair. I don't know if I'm going to go that route, but this is what's going to be. It's going to have some days like this already for sure. So, and then we have, of course, my good friend Carrie, who followed me over from my previous regime. I wonder if Elly thinks he has such a cannon. He thinks that yes, he's a hot dog because he's used to minor league level where he dominates. I mean, he was pretty darn good last year. Let's be honest. So yeah, I mean, they got a lot of guys that they probably need to figure out what their future is. And I don't know if I'm in love with Jacob Hurtubise pinch hitting with the game on the line, but that's what you got right now. So you just got to live with it. This wasn't easy to pick, and I'm kind of throwing something at a wall and seeing what sticks, but here's the Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Ian Gibaut? I mean, he had a perfect inning. He kept them in the game with a chance to win it and go to extras with Elly at the plate. Okay. Not my best one, but I'm going to go with it because just about everyone else today who had chances to really be the best player of the day let it go by. So that's where we are now on that. But hey, whatever. Let's just call it one game and move on. Rogers did not perform, Carrie. Rogers did not perform. Let's kind of go through real quick. I know everyone wants to have somebody mad at, whether it's Terry Francona, whether it's Elly Cruz, whether it's Nick Martinez. And I think this is one of those things where it's a total team loss. This is not one guy did one thing. Now, a couple guys contributed way more than others. Like I said, I don't think the Elly error lost in the game by any means. But I do think that this is going to be one of these games that he's going to have a learning lesson from. And hopefully it's one of these things that goes before, but wasn't great. I will look at the fact that as a team in 37 at-bats tonight, they had 16 strikeouts. That's pretty bad. Got to get more consistent. You had 6 hits today. You did score 6 runs. But you also had 4 walks. So there's a lot of mixed bags there. And just consistently, a bunch of guys struggling right now obviously plays in that. Christian Encarnacion Strand, I don't know who he is. I really don't. And there's, he's got the pop, but we're now right before he got injured last year. And so far this year, he's been in these major slumps. He's either swinging at the first pitch or he's striking out. Not good. Now, 4 of those 16 strikeouts are Will Benson. I think it's fair to acknowledge that one guy did have a quarter of those. And yes, I did come on here and say that I was pretty sure that Will Benson couldn't bring up worse at-bats than the outfielders in front of him. Today, I was wrong. So let's see how things go this week in the Pirates series because they're going against righties the whole time. And let's call it what it is. I think a lot of this loss is on Terry Francona too. He left Nick Martinez in way too long. The way he used the bullpen today, it looked like he was scrambling. And, Rogers has a rough outing for his first time all year. He wasn't very good. And I just thought that this was one where the way he managed the bullpen on top of his decisions for substitutions, and I know that part of that is just the talent he has allotted to him right now, but this was a bad day all around. This is the day that everyone's going to have to deal with it. But the beauty of it is you get to play my least favorite team in the universe this weekend, the Pittsburgh Pirates, at home after this road trip to Milwaukee and San Francisco, where 500 road trip, could be better. No, I'm sorry. It was 3 out of 4. No, a game under 500 road trip. So it was worse. But they do have favorable matchups in all 3 games against the Pirates this weekend, starting with Friday as Brady Singer takes the mound for his second home start. Brady is 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA, going against the Pittsburgh Pirates' Bailey Falter, who is currently 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA. So let's see the Reds kind of go out there. And if you got to get at least 2 out of 3. A sweep is ideal. 2 out of 3 you can live with. Because this Pirates team is also not very good. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm very excited to be back home. I think I'm going to go to the game Saturday, Elly Cruz bobblehead night. So we might be on a little later Saturday. But hey, big picture, today sucked, but at least they won the series. Be sure to check out Jeff and Steve on Locked On Reds Monday through Friday as they all do a deep dive into this game. And hopefully after having a couple hours to think about it, can turn it around and make this a little better. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again this early evening. Have a great night. Enjoy the day off tomorrow, and I'll see you Friday. Go Reds.